WWE is going to be at Rolling Loud? A Cypher in NXT? Cardi B might host SummerSlam? Is WWE finally getting blacker? I mean, it's almost like they've been reading my articles.
Pro Wrestling Bits. Subscribe now.
As the pro wrestling audience continues to look more and more like a 1960s high school reunion, Nick Khan's WWE is looking to get younger in a hurry. And anytime you want to get a young audience in this country, you have to understand the black audience. There's just no getting around that. The history of quote-unquote pop culture is littered with white executives stealing from black culture in order to captivate a young audience. In the 50s, nothing was more pop than Elvis, but he borrowed his whole style from Jackie Wilson, Chuck Berry, and a host of charismatic black artists. In the 2000s, nothing was more pop than a boy band. There was NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, but them white boys borrowed their whole style from Boys to Men. Because pop culture is black culture remixed for white people. Always has been, always will be. In addition to promoting actual black talent, which WWE has done fantastically over the past year, WWE needs to also implement black culture into the fabric of WWE. That way, publications and creators within the culture can connect with it, thereby connecting WWE with younger audiences. This past week on AEW Dynamite, Lance Archer delivered a blackout to a 51-year-old Dan Lambert who was lampooning Jim Cornette for his harsh and sometimes fire takes on AEW. As fun as this segment was, to me that 51-year-old white man wasn't just an inside joke on Jim Cornette. Whether AEW knew it or not, Lambert was a personification of most wrestling fans today. Old, mostly white, hardcore fans who are too close to the product for their own good. 33-year-old Amanda Nunes, who seemed confused and was laughing in the crowd at how ridiculous she thought the whole segment was, represents the young audience that pro wrestling has alienated over the years by catering to the internet wrestling community at the expense of being mainstream. Now, if AEW could just get Max Castro on television a bit more, that would be great. Pro wrestling's entire ecosystem is aging. Most of its viewership comes from an audience that's 55 years old and over. The number one contender for the Universal Championship is a 47-year-old Edge, and not drawing a dime, unfortunately. And many leading voices in wrestling media are well over 60. Yes, David does decent work, but I promise you, no college kid gets his information from a newsletter. They're watching The Breakfast Club, reading Complex, or even enjoying content from famed black culture vultures, the Paul brothers, both of whom have been featured in WWE programming. Shit, Logan Paul took a stunner at WrestleMania 37, and it was probably the loudest pop of the night. If WWE doesn't get any younger, it risks having its Meltzerian, Jennerian audience die off with nobody to replace it, all while viewership numbers are already declining in addition to lukewarm ticket sales. Look, nobody's saying WWE's older audience needs to go away. In fact, I hope they stick around for as long as possible. But pro wrestling will never be mainstream for as long as they're the nucleus. The product just isn't hot, mostly because mainstream doesn't see it as being cool. The mainstream audience gets its cool from black culture, and WWE is finally starting to realize that. In addition to pursuing Cardi B and having a hit row Cypher, not a concert white wrestling media, a whole black ass Cypher on NXT TV, WWE has announced a partnership with Rolling Loud, where its niche famous WWE superstars will be rubbing elbows with actual superstars in music and hip hop like Post Malone, A$AP Rocky, Travis Scott, and Bobby Shmurda. Hell yeah. I mean, this is the most WWE has seemed to care about reaching a black audience since... Okay, well, they've never really cared about that, but at least the wrestling media at large talks a lot about black issues. See, there we go. Wait a minute, these are all just my articles. Okay, we've got a lot of work to do. Jesus Christ, Rolling Loud can't come fast enough. Now, I'm sure the ghosts of 55-year-olds and older will scoff at WWE's attempt to go hip-hop, astutely pointing out that hip-hop audiences will not quite connect with pro wrestling since nobody bought their ticket to Rolling Loud to go see a fake sport that their dad used to watch in the 80s. But this is a step in the right direction, and WWE needs to continue to commit to it, even if that means going through a couple of rough patches. If WWE wants to be cool again and get younger, it's gonna have to pick up a prescription of melanin, preferably from Dr. Umar Johnson. How much melanin, you ask? The blacker, the better.